Okay, Evinrude fans, Transom fans, fiberglass fans, boating enthusiasts, all that kind of happy stuff. This is the beginning of part 2 of this transom job that I'm doing, and this has turned out to be quite a bit more larger scope of work than expected. Most of the time, your transom on a quality boat will have 2 skins on it. It'll have an outer skin and it'll have an inner skin. Well, this boat doesn't have an inner skin on it, and we went over this before. This is a '79 Glastron, and this is when they weren't really top of the knowledge chart on fiberglass and exactly what to do with everything, and so. It was basically a open-sided inside wood transom, which certainly led to deterioration on a major scale. I could almost pull it out with my hands. What I couldn't pull out with my hands, I used a chainsaw, and you can see here I've got wooden stringers, and it's only a 1/2 inch wood. What I've done is I've cut this down. I've taken a level and gone along here, and I'm measuring out all my points and measuring back to the actual stringer itself. That way I'm going to make everything the same. Now this stringer here to this stringer here is a different dimension, but I'm going to make this portion of the transom is going to be a thicker portion. How I'm going to accomplish that is I've got some fiberglass board. It's like a Kuso board, and I'm going to start on the end there, and I'm going to put an inner form in it. And as I run the inner form this way, I'm going to bend the board from this stringer to this stringer. I'm going to screw it to it with some stainless steel screws. From the inside, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to glass the inside of the board with fiberglass mat to each side of the stringer. I'm also, before I do this to the stringers, I'm going to scab on pieces of board, and once I get the scabs put on there, I'm going to show you how I did that and why I did that. Still got a little bit of cleanup to do. I'm going to clean up these notches in the transom here, make this in the stringer here, make this a nice smooth edge down. This transom's going to bow out a little bit wider here, but what I'll more than likely do is I'm not gonna take it out to the total width of this, because there's no need for a 5.5, 6 inch transom. But I'm gonna scab boards onto here and build this out a little bit. So we'll be running an inside form board is basically just what I'm using this for, because I'm gonna pour this a solid glass transom. So I'm gonna put my inner form board in. First I'll scab it off, and I'll show you what I did with the scabs, and then I'm going to put my inner form board in, and once I get the inner form board in, I'll show you what that looks like. It just basically requires some halfway decent math skills and construction skills is basically what it is. I mean, when you go to cut something like this, what you need to do is draw it out on a piece of paper, and you take all your measurements from center to here, from center to there, and you take varying dimensions, varying measurements. Say every 6 inches up this way, you'll take measurements, and you'll put a dot on your board, the board that you're cutting to put in here, and then once you've got this, once you've got it all lined out the way that fits the contour of the hull, then you'll come along and you'll cut that. Most of you guys aren't going to have to worry about dealing with something like this, because you're going to have an inner skin on your transom. So this is just a little bit, more of a, like I said before, a larger scope of work on this job. So I'm going to get these scabs built out. I'm going to turn the camera back on, show you what that looks like with the scabs built out. Then I'm going to cut my inner form board and get it into place. I'm going to glass. I'm going to get that all glassed in. And then I'm going to reinforce our outer skin with some roving woving. And I told you before I was going to show you what roving woving looks like. this stuff here, this is High Bond brand. I got it from Land and Sea or something. It's called Woven Roving, and it's a very, very thick structural fiberglass mat. It's kind of expensive. I think it's $60 for it's a 38 by 3 yards, so it's basically 3 square yards. I got 2 of these just to make sure I had enough. You don't want to get halfway into a job and then realize you don't have enough. So I bought 2 of these packages of that, and all the rest of the stuff that required to do fiberglass work. I got my vial here. This is you can squeeze it out here, and this has got my MEK in it. This is tinted MEK, so you can tell by the color of your glass, how hot it is. I got my MEK ready. I've got a 5-gallon bucket from a friend of mine. He's a professional fiberglass guy. He gets his in 55-gallon drums, and I'll go over and I'll buy a bucket off of him. So he got me a 5-gallon bucket of polyester resin, and just got MEK on my hand. So that's great. MEK smells great. Plastic gloves. You're going to wear plastic gloves because you do not want this stuff on your hands, and when it's not good for you. It's hard to get off, and if it's hot, if it's really hot, if you mix it hot, it will burn. So anyway, I'm going to get started. After I cleaned all this out, like I said before, I took a chainsaw and I got up in there and I cleaned everything out with a chainsaw. You can see the chainsaw marks on here, and that's just roughed that up really nicely so the fiberglass will bond to that. You have to like take some 80 grit or even a 40 grit sandpaper and sand everything down and get a good rough surface. That way it'll stick to it. It definitely aids in the adhesion from your fiberglass to your other material, and you've got to do that. There's a window on fiberglass that if, say, I do some work and if I don't want to have to go back and sand it before I put some more on it, you've got an 18-hour window with polyester resin. So if you put something in, it'll kick off. It's nice and hard. If you can get to it and work on it again within 18 hours, it will chemically bond to what you have already put in there, and that eliminates the need for sanding again. Now, if you put something in, say you're doing your floor, or, doing the back of the transom, and you put one piece of the mat on there to reinforce it, and then 3 days later you go to put another piece on, you're going to have to sand that in order to have proper adhesion. So anyway, another thing you're going to want to do is any work in your bilge area. I mean, like I said, this is a bad case. This is a worst case scenario. So I've got a wide open transom. Any work that you can do or get done in your bilge area, cleaning your bilge out and stuff, you're going to want to do that while you got it wide open, and it's much easier to access. So I'm going to turn the camera off here. I'm going to make some cuts. I'm going to put some scabs on. I'm going to glass those scabs in. I'm going to turn the camera back on and show you what I did, and then we're just going to keep this process going for until this thing is built out. So YouTube fans, Evan Root fans, talk to you in a minute. Okay, this is the next day. Not making a lot of progress on here. I like to put the hotter you mix your fiberglass, the more brittle it is. So when I'm doing something like this, especially when I'm in the structural phase, which this is basically all structural, I mix it right at the 2% mark, which is going to I mean, you could go 1%, but going 1% is it can be up to it can be a really long cure on it. I went 2% on this with my MEK to a MEK to resin, and basically what I have is a slow curing but very structurally sound product. So what I did is I came in here, and this is just the very beginning of this. I roughed the bottom of this surface all up. I put these boards down in here, and this is going to serve as backing for my form. I roughed the surface of that up. I put these in there. These are my scabs that I was telling you about. Put the scabs on both sides. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to build this up with one more piece of now seeing I've gone about 24 hours before I worked on this. I'm gonna sand this down a little bit. I'm gonna build this up with one more piece of this Kusa type board. This is not Kusa brand board. It's a Kusa style of a board. It's a honeycomb, fiberglass honeycomb. I'm gonna build it up with one more piece, and then I'm gonna lay mat down. That woven roving that we looked at yesterday. I'm gonna lay that down into this area. I'm gonna put it on the back side of here, up into this stringer. I'm gonna do the same thing on this one into the back side of this stringer. Once I have that done, at the same time, I'm going to, with that same batch of resin, I'm gonna put one layer of backing on my skin that goes on here. And I'm going to put, I'm gonna cut and dry fit the form board that's going in here. Once I got that cut and I got it dry fit, you always fit this stuff dry and make sure it fits right, and then you got everything right when you go to. The last thing you want to do is have a bunch of fiberglass mixed up, and then something doesn't fit right, and then you got to go cut something, and then you lose a batch or kicks early or whatever happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get to work on this, and I'm gonna build this up. I'm gonna glass the outsides of this in. The reason I'm glassing the outsides of this in is I can't get in here once I put this board in. So I want to have this matted in with the woven roving, whatever the hell it is, and I'm not gonna do this side because once I have this form board made, I'm going to do the very face of the form board with the woving, and I'm going to leave portions unglassed, and I'm going to go back because I can get to this portion. I'm going to go back and I'm going to put mat in, and I'm going to have that mat run along the face of my form board, and I'm going to glass all that in. Once that's all done, then we're going to put the cap, we're going to put our outer skin back on. We're going to cut the top of this out, and we're going to pour this sucker. So it's a long step-by-step process. I have a full-time job, so I'm doing this while working 48 hours a week too, which is it makes for a nice fat pocket, but a very tired Nick. So, okay, guys, I'll get back with you and show you what I've done on the next step, and we'll go from there. Okay, YouTube fans, what I've done here is this is the inside of the outer skin that I cut off. I've covered that in mat, the woven, whatever the hell it's called. And I'm going to glass that in. It's going to make that a lot thicker. Also, I have built battery mounting positions for this thing while I'm in here. When I made it out of that board, and then I'm covering that in cloth. And you can see I got that cloth in. So I'm going to go ahead, glass all this stuff in, and then when that's done, we'll continue on. Okay, YouTube, Evinrude, Glastron, Transom, whatever kind of fans you are, if you're watching this, you got to be some kind of boating guy. What I have done here, and I'm showing you now, I laid the woven roving on there. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, but if you want to be successful, you just work your butt off, and unless you mind when you're a kid. and go to school and get one of those really high-paying jobs, or go to work for the government, which, you know, typically pays you twice as much as private sector. So I screwed up twice, didn't go to school, and I don't work for the government. So I have to work my ass off to make ends meet, and well, actually, to have, you know, neat things. I've built these areas out for the battery. Glass those in. This is just a first layer of what we're doing here. Once I get the inside form board in over here, I will glass all that stuff in together, so it all, you know, makes one nice, neat, very secure, very strong structure. Anyway, I was just figured I'd show you guys, you know, what I'm talking about. And this piece here that I'm shining the light on is the inside of the skin that we cut off of there. So I'm thickening up the inside of this, and when I put an inside on that piece, I'm going to thicken that up too before I install it. And then I'm going to inside, I'm going to beef that up too. So anyway, last little segment of part 2 here. I just wanted to you know, give you a little you know, another little bit of explanation how, why, and why. So all right, boating enthusiasts, Evinrude fans, Glastron fans, Fiberglass fans, Transom fans, and whatever hell else fans you are. I'll be loading this video up tonight, so I will